me, Ray Ray Rambles, but obviously I'm not wearing Ray Ray today. I just used her for an event, so she's getting all cleaned and dried right now, so I'm using Ulfric instead. This is a very rambly video. I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts out there, see if people kind of agree with me, see if this gets anywhere. You know, there's not really going to be much structure. And I also wanted to say, before I start talking, I know a lot of people are wondering what happened to my intro. The one with the kazoo and everything. So, I really only use that intro when my videos are more high quality. Because a lot of times my videos are just stuff like this, where I'm just sitting and talking to a camera. And I felt kind of weird, like, putting and editing this, like, intro into everything when the content really wasn't that good, you know? Like, I don't think that my intro really fits with just someone talking at a camera for 10 minutes, you know? I'd rather save it for something like my top 10s, or something that's a bit more edited like that, rather than just a camera ramble. So I hope that clears things up. But today I wanted to talk about the fandom's obsession with fursuits. And you might be like, Ray, what the heck do you mean by that? Like, we're the furry fandom. We're supposed to be fans of fursuits, you know? And what I mean is the fandom's unhealthy obsession with fursuits. Specifically, the drama that fursuits can cause. Because I've noticed this a lot as of late, and it's certainly not getting any better. Basically, if someone takes off their fursuit head, people don't care about them anymore. If a fursuiter doesn't have a fursuit, they're not going to watch. Like, if someone has a really cute fursuit, but they've done something awful, people don't care because they're cute. Fursuits are just that. A fursuit. It's just some foam and some fur. Yeah, they're really cool, but at the end of the day, they're not that important. I have seen YouTubers getting bullied because they wouldn't wear their fursuit for a video. People demanding, put your fursuit on, I want more fursuit content. We don't owe you anything. Fursuits are for personal enjoyment. Of course there is an entertainment factor, but why do I always have to wear a fursuit in order to be heard in the fandom? Fursuits are probably like a fourth of the fandom's content. There's so much other stuff out there. There's writing, music, art, dancing. Fursuits are such a niche category that only some people participate in, and yet it's seen as like the standard in the fandom. Some people don't even consider you a furry until you get a fursuit. Why? Why are people so obsessed with giant animal costumes that they ignore people, that they excuse horrible people just for the sake of getting to look at a fursuit? I wanted to spark this discussion because I think it's really important, and I don't mean to sound like a hypocrite because I am a multi-suit owner, but that's for me, you know? I just so happen to have collected some fursuits over the years. I don't have to wear a fursuit for other people. I do it for myself. And yet, there's a huge chunk of people in the fandom who are demanding more and more and more of fursuiters and from fursuiters. This is also relevant on how kids especially will go out of their way to do anything to get a fursuit. Fursuits, again, are such a niche corner of the fandom, and kids are scamming their parents, scamming other people, using dangerous materials just to get fursuits. Why? I know that they're cute, but they're really not that big a deal. They're fun, and I love them, but I'm not going to scam people just to get one. There is just so much terrible behavior that spawns from the fandom's unhealthy obsession with fursuits. And it's really not okay. We need to remind people that being a fursuiter isn't the rite of passage in the fandom. It's a personal choice of exploring a certain part of the fandom. Fursuiters shouldn't be obligated to do anything for their viewers. You know, it's for us. Like, I've heard YouTubers say that they'll be at fan meets, and then the second they take their head off, people just leave. It's like, you know, people forget that we're humans too. You know, they just see the fursuit, and, you know, people are trying to dictate what we do in our suits, you know, how we make ourselves look. That's not your business. And I'm not trying to call anyone out in specifics, like I'm not trying to yell at anybody. I just want to point out some of the behavior I've seen and the entitlement that spawns from the obsession of fursuits, you know? Another example of, you know, this obsession with keeping the sanctity of fursuits and, oh, if you're not using that fursuit, can I have it? Like, more fursuits, please. Another example I've seen of that is sometimes when people's fursuits get super old or they've become dangerous, people burn or throw away their fursuits. Off the top of my head, I can think of 2 examples of this. I know of a person who had a red dragon fursuit head, and they burned it because there was mold on the inside. You can't salvage a fursuit head if there's mold. It has become a safety hazard, and you just can't use it anymore. You have to get rid of it. So they burned it to dispose of it in a way that wouldn't get mold on other stuff. And that was the responsible thing to do. And people still got mad because they were destroying a fursuit and claiming that it could have been saved. No, it could not. These people just wanted the chance to get a free fursuit. That's what that was. And this is nothing new. The same thing happened with Odin Wolf in his video where he burned his first fursuit because it was incredibly poorly constructed, and he believed that no one deserved to get a fursuit that was such poor quality. Plus, it was of his character. He's not going to give someone a fursuit of his character, so he decided to get rid of it, which is completely valid. And of course, people freaked out because he burned a fursuit when it was not usable and it was his property. The obsession with keeping fursuits, making more fursuits, making more fursuit content is harming the fandom. It's bad. And I wanted to get into one more point. Alright, the last point I wanted to share, I briefly mentioned this earlier, but I'd like to go more into depth about it. It's that just because someone has a fursuit, people automatically choose to side with them. I've seen this a lot. There are a lot of bad people in the fandom. I will never deny that. This is a massive, massive community, and there is bound to be terrible people within it. The furry fandom, as much as I hate to say it, this is not a safe space. Because no matter where you are, there is always going to be people that will try to use it for their own benefit. It is an opportunity. And one opportunity that it brings is using the appeal of fursuits to cover up bad actions. We've seen this countless of times from people who shall not be named, but just because these people have fursuits, their actions are excused. And that is not okay. The lack of accountability for big artists, big fursuits, big fursuiters, big content creators is getting out of control. And I know that a lot of people are trying to change that, but we need to do more about it. You know, I saw a comment recently that really stuck with me, and it was someone saying, like, I've heard that in the brony community, if someone is found out to be a horrible person, you know what I'm talking about. If someone is found to have done something like that in the brony community, they are quite literally hunted down until they are sent to the police. That doesn't happen here. We just tweet about them on Twitter and say, this person bad, scary, and cause hysteria, all because of their fursuit. We're too afraid to hold them fully accountable. You know, it's all just buzz. It's all just buzz. Like, we know there's some really scary and horrible people in this fandom, and they're just walking free because they have this false identity. It can be a really good thing, but as we've seen, it can be a really bad thing. And I feel like, you know, once again, the obsession with fursuits is adding to that. And it's not okay, you know? So I know this was a very rambly video, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out there and maybe spark a discussion. And like I said, I love fursuits. I think they can be a great thing, but I also think that the way that the fandom currently handles them is just really unproductive, and I think that we should talk about that. Thank you, everyone. I love you very much. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.